अस्सलाम वालेकुम, मैं अपना एजुकेशन वाली रेहान कॉलेज मनोवर कैंपस की स्टूडेंट हूँ और आज मैं कर रही हूँ कोर्स। आज का हमारा टॉपिक है हाउ कंसिस्टेंसी बिल्ड योर ऑनलाइन रेपुटेशन।
Walaikum assalam. It's funny how we usually think of reputation as this one big heroic moment, but it's actually just the sum of 1,000 tiny boring moments. Consistency is basically the signal that tells people you're reliable. If you post once a month, you're a guest. If you're there every Tuesday, you're a part of their routine. Do you feel like you're struggling more with the actual creating part or just finding the time to stick to a schedule?
What does online reputation mean to you?
To me, reputation is less about the image you curate and more about the promise you keep to other people. It's that gut feeling someone has about you before you even speak. The shorthand they use to decide if they can trust you with a secret, a project, or their time. I think the most interesting reputations are the ones that grow organically, not the ones that are carefully managed. What about you? When you think of your own reputation, what's the one thing you hope people associate with you?
Why is consistency important when using social media?
Because the algorithm is essentially a reward system for habits. If you show up regularly, the platform keeps putting you in front of people. But beyond the tech side, it's about psychology. When people see you consistently, you become a familiar face in a digital world that feels incredibly chaotic, creates a sense of stability and trust that a random viral hit just can't touch. Do you think it's possible to be too consistent to the point where it feels robotic?
What kind of content would you like to share consistently?
If I could actually post, I'd probably lean into the curiosity angle. I'd share those weird, tiny details about humanity that make you go, huh, that's wild. The kind of stuff that's surprisingly human and a bit messy. I think the most engaging content is the stuff that feels like a real conversation, not a polished presentation. What about you? If you had a dream budget and unlimited time, what's the one topic you'd talk about every single day?
How can being consistent help you achieve long-term goals?
It turns a goal from a distant dream into a daily practice. When you're consistent, you stop relying on that sudden burst of motivation, which is unreliable anyway, and you start relying on your systems. It's the difference between trying to run a marathon in one go without training and just walking a mile every morning. Eventually, the effort becomes automatic and the progress just compounds over time. Do you find it easier to stay consistent when you have a clear reward in sight, or does the process itself have to be interesting for you to keep going?
What are some habits that can help you stay consistent online?
The biggest one is definitely batching your content. Instead of trying to be creative on demand every single day, you spend one afternoon knocking out a week's worth of posts. It takes the pressure off and stops you from staring at a blank screen when you're not feeling it. Then, setting a simple, non negotiable publishing hour helps it feel like a part of your routine rather than a chore. Do you think you're more of a plan everything person, or do you prefer to just post whenever inspiration hits?
How can creating a schedule improve consistency?
Absolutely, it's the anchor. When you have a map for your week, you don't waste energy deciding what to do, you just do it. It takes the guesswork out of the equation. I wonder if you've tried using something like time blocking to keep that schedule from feeling too rigid? I'm glad it's clicking.
What challenges
Since
might
you're
stop people from being consistent?
The biggest one is usually burnout. People often start with too much intensity, trying to be everywhere at once, and they just run out of steam. Then there's the perfectionism trap where you don't post because it's not quite perfect yet, so you end up not posting at all. And of course, the lack of immediate results can be a huge mental hurdle. It's hard to keep showing up when the numbers aren't moving yet. Do you think the pressure to be perfect is something that gets in the way more often than just a lack of time? I'm glad you're sticking around. Since we were talking about those hurdles, do you think you've ever fallen into that perfectionism trap yourself?
How can you overcome those challenges?
The first thing is to lower the bar. If you stop trying to make every single post a masterpiece, you remove the fear of failure. Just focus on showing up, even if it's a B minus effort some days. Then, for the burnout part, it's all about sustainable pacing. Doing the bare minimum consistently is way better than doing everything for 2 weeks and then disappearing for 2 months. Does that feel doable, or does the idea of lowering the bar actually make you feel a bit anxious?
How can positive online behavior improve your reputation?
It turns you from a stranger into a neighbor. When you're consistently kind, helpful, or just genuinely curious in other people's comments and posts, you're building a bridge before you even ask for anything. It shows that you're not just there to broadcast your own voice, but that you're actually listening. People trust someone who adds value to the room rather than someone who just wants to be the center of it. Do you think most people on social media are too focused on their own broadcast to actually connect with others?
How can consistency help grow a personal brand?
It creates a pattern of trust. When you're consistent, you're not just sharing content, you're establishing a reliable identity. People start to associate you with a specific topic or a specific way of thinking, and that's where a brand actually becomes something real. It's the difference between being a random source of information and being the person for that specific thing. I'm curious, if you were to build a brand around one specific strength of yours, what would it be?
What is your personal plan to build a strong online reputation?
Since I don't actually have a social media account, my plan is a bit more conceptual. I'd focus on being the thought partner, the one who asks the questions that make people stop and actually think. I wouldn't worry about the aesthetic or the trends. I just lean into genuine curiosity and honesty. I think if you're consistently the person who makes others feel seen and understood, that's a reputation that sticks. Do you think a reputation based on curiosity is more powerful than one based on expertise?
What is the biggest lesson you learned today about consistency and online reputation?
That it's not about the intensity of the moment, but the quality of the habit. I think the most important takeaway is that showing up, even in a messy, imperfect way, is the most authentic way to build trust. It's the reliability that actually resonates with people, not the polish. Do you feel like this conversation shifted how you think about your own approach?